Daf Yomi, Tractate Menachot, page 105a, and starting on the bottom of 104b for context. The Mishnah teaches that if one says, "It is incumbent upon me to bring a meal offering," the first Tana holds that he may bring whichever meal offering he wishes, whereas Rabbi Yehuda maintains that he must bring the fine flour meal offering, as it is the most notable of the meal offerings. It is taught in a Braita. Rabbi Yehuda says that he must bring fine flour meal offering, since in the passage of the Torah that discusses the meal offering, Leviticus chapter 2, the verse opens with the fine flour meal offering first, mentioning it before the other meal offerings. The Gemara challenges this. If that is so, one who says, "It is incumbent upon me to bring a burnt offering," without specifying which type of animal, must bring a young bull as his burnt offering, since the verse opens with it. Okay? And that takes us to 105a on the top, with the word techila. Techila first in the passage discussing burnt offerings, Leviticus 1:3. It's the same idea, comparing it to the flour offering. Minatzon yabi keves. So if you're saying the reasoning is that you have to give the fine flour one because the verse starts it, so it should be with everything. Similarly, one who says, "It is incumbent on me to bring a burnt offering from the flock," one must bring a lamb as his burnt offering, since the verse opens up with it first. In the passage discussing burnt offerings of the flock, as it is stated, "And if his offering is of the flock, whether of the lambs or of the goats, for a burnt offering he shall offer it a male without blemish." Leviticus 1:10. Similarly, one who says, "It is incumbent upon me to bring a burnt offering from a type of bird," one must bring doves as his burnt offering, since the verse opens with it first. In the passage discussing burnt offerings of birds, as it is stated, "And if his offering to the Lord is a burnt offering of birds, then he shall bring his offering of doves or of pigeons." Leviticus 1:14. Almatnan, or alamatnan. It's not almat, alamatnan. Hare ale oila yavi kevis. Rabbi Elazar Rizal Omer Tor o Ben Yonah v'lo palig Rabbi Yehuda. If so, why did we learn in a Mishnah 107a, one who says it is incumbent upon me to bring a burnt offering must bring a lamb, which is the least expensive land animal, sacrificed as an offering? Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says he may bring either a dove or a pigeon as a burnt offering, and Rabbi Yehuda does not disagree. He should disagree because he should say, like he said with the mincha, "Ela my miuchedes shibenachos leslei shem levai." The Gemara provides a new interpretation. Rather, what does Rabbi Yehuda mean when he says the fine flour meal offering is the most notable of the meal offerings? He means that it has no modifier. Only a fine flour offering is referred to simply as a meal offering with no other qualification. If the Gemara challenges, but isn't it taught in the Braita that Rabbi Yehuda says that one must bring a fine flour offering since the verse opens with it first? The Gemara answers, this is what the Braita is saying. Which meal offering is the most notable of the meal offerings, as it has no modifier? It is this, meaning the fine flour meal offering, with which the verse opens first. The reason Rabbi Yehuda holds that one must bring a fine flour meal offering is not because the verse opens with it, but because it has no modifier. Pshita min chasoyres kamal siman agam. The Gemara challenges. If so, the explanation in the Braita is unnecessary, as isn't it obvious that Rabbi Yehuda is referring to the fine flour meal offering, as he says so explicitly? The Gemara answers, the Braita explains that the reference to the meal offering with which The passage opens merely serves as a mnemonic, so one should not forget which type of meal offering Rabbi Yehuda is referring to. Mincha, mina mincha, ba'irav papa, mine mincha mahu. The Mishnah teaches that if one says, it is incumbent upon me to bring a meal offering, or it's incumbent upon me to bring a type of meal offering, he must bring one meal offering. This is because he stated his intent in the singular. But if he says in the plural, it is incumbent upon me to bring meal offerings, or meal offerings of a certain type, he must bring two meal offerings. Rav Papa raises a dilemma. If one said it is incumbent upon me to bring types of a meal offering, using a combination of singular and plural forms, what's the halacha? Tarti komar umay mincha d'chuli menachos nami mincha yikarian yichsi v'zois toiras hamincho. The Gemara explains the dilemma. Perhaps it should be reasoned that since he said types in the plural, apparently he was saying that he intends to bring two meal offerings. And if so, what is the reason he used the singular word meal offering? He used it because the entire category of meal offerings is also referred to as meal offering in the singular, as it is written in the verse, and this is the law of the meal offering. The sons of Aaron shall offer it before the Lord in front of the altar. Leviticus 6:7. O Dilma Kevin Mincha Chada Mincha Kamar Umay Mine Mincha Hachi Kamau Mine Mincha Chada Mincha Alai. Or perhaps it should be reasoned that since he said meal offering in the singular, apparently he was saying he intends to bring only one meal offering, and if so, what did he mean by using the plural phrase, types of a meal offering? This is what he was saying. Of the various types of a meal offering, it is incumbent upon me to bring one. Tashima mincha yavi achas ha min mincha shtayim. The Gemara would just come in here proof that his intent is to bring two meal offerings from that which is stated in the Mishnah. If one says it is incumbent upon me to bring a meal offering, or it is incumbent upon me to bring a type of meal offering, he must bring one. This indicates that if you said types of a meal offering, you must bring two. Ema seifa minchas min minachos yavishtayim hamine mincha chada ela mayaleka limisha minab. The Gemara rejects this proof. Say the latter clause. If one says it is incumbent upon me to bring meal offerings, or it is incumbent upon me to bring meal offerings of a certain type, he must bring two. This indicates that if he says types of meal offering, he must bring only one. Rather, no inference is to be learned from this Mishnah, as the potential inferences are contradictory. Tashema min minachos alai yavishtei min achos mimin echad ha mimin mincha chada. The Gemara suggests another resolution for Papa's dilemma. Coming here, that which is taught in a Braita. If one says it is incumbent upon me to bring meal offerings of a certain type, he must bring two meal offerings of one type. This indicates that if one says it is incumbent upon me to bring of the various types of a meal offering, he is required to bring only one. Dilma ha mine mincha maybe shtei minachos mishnei minin. The Gemara rejects this inference. Perhaps the correct inference from the Braita is that this indicates that if one says it is incumbent upon me to bring types of a meal offering, he must bring two meal offerings of two different types. The halo tani hachim min minachos alai maybe shtei minachos bimin echad mine minachos alai maybe shtei minachos mishtei minin hamishtei mincha chada. Gemara challenges the rejection, but this is not taught in the Braita, as the full Braita reads as follows. If one says it is incumbent upon me to bring meal offerings of a certain type, he must bring two meal offerings of one type. If he says it is incumbent upon me to bring types of meal offerings, he must bring two meal offerings and of two different types. This indicates that if he says it is incumbent upon me to bring types of meal offering, he brings only one. Dilma hamani Rabbi Shimon he damar mechza chalos umechza regigin yabi umay mini mincha deiz ba tremine. The Gemara rejects this proof. Perhaps the Braita is not in accordance with all opinions, rather in accordance with whose opinion is this Braita. It is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, who said, with regard to one who vows to bring a meal offering baked in an oven, that if he wants to bring half of the meal offering and as loaves and half of his wafers, he may bring it in that manner. And accordingly, what is the meaning of the phrase types of a meal offering? It means a meal offering that has two types of baked dough. Therefore, bringing one such meal offering is sufficient. Meaning, but according to the opinion of the rabbis, who say that if one wishes to bring half of the meal offering as loaves and half of it as wafers, he may not bring it in this manner, as they hold that all the baked items in a meal offering must be of the same type. He consequently must bring two meal offerings of two different types. Pirashti, then Yudemash Pirashti Yavi Chamishran Maitranam. The Mishnah teaches that if one says, I specified a meal offering, but I do not know what meal offering I specified, he must bring all five types of meal offerings. The Gemara asks, who is a Tana who taught this halacha? Rabbi Yirmiyah, Dilo Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Shimon, Kevan Diamon Mechza, Chalos Mechza, Rekikin Yabi. Rabbi Yirmiyah said this halacha is not in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, as if it were in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, since he said that if one wants to bring half of his baked meal offering as loaves and half of it as wafers, he may bring it in that manner. Why does one have to bring only 5 meal offerings to cover all possible vows that he may have made? He should have required to bring several meal offerings baked in an oven to cover all the possible combinations of loaves and wafers. Inami savarla, therefore, even if the Tana of the Mishnah holds in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who said that all meal offerings are brought as 10 items, as opposed to the opinion of Rabbi Meir that all meal offerings are brought as 12 items, there is cause for uncertainty, which renders 14 different meal offerings necessary. In addition to the shallow pan meal offering, the deep pan meal offering, and the fine flour meal offering, there are another 11 combinations of baked meal offering that he may have intended. He may have intended to bring 10 loaves or 10 wafers, or 1 loaf and 9 wafers, 2 loaves and 8 wafers, 3 loaves and 7 wafers, and so forth. Abai Amar Afilu Teimar Rabbi Shimon Shamin Alei Rabbi Shimon Diamar Ma'asim Masni. Abai rejected Rabbi Yirmiyah's explanation and said, you may even say that the Mishnah is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. We have heard that Rabbi Shimon said one who is uncertain whether he is obligated to bring a certain offering may bring the offering, and stipulate that if he is obligated to bring an offering, this is his offering, and if he is not obligated, it is a voluntary offering. Therefore, in the case of the Mishnah, one can bring 5 types of meal offerings with his baked meal offering, including 10 loaves and 10 wafers, and stipulate that whichever items were included in his vow serve as fulfillment of his obligation, and all the others are voluntary offerings. Tanya, Rabbi Shimon Omer lemacharas maybe ashamo v'nugo. Continuing on to 105b. Imo ve'omer imitzorahu zeu ashamo v'zeh nugo b'imlav asham zeh yehe shameni dobe. Okay, we'll stop there. And okay, we're back on 105a. As it is taught in Braita, Tosefta Nazir 6.1, how should one whose status as leper is uncertain, bring his guilt offering and a log of oil on the 8th day of his purification? Rabbi Shimon says, on the following day after his 7 days of purification, he brings his guilt offering and his log of oil, 105b now on top, with it, and says the following stipulation: if this offering is one of a leper, meaning if I'm a leper, this is the guilt offering, and that is his log of oil. And if I'm not a leper, this animal that I brought for guilt offering shall be a gift peace offering, because their sacrificial rights are equivalent. We'll stop there and continue on 105b.